So hopefully that will address many of the questions that you may have. But Yadin, can you pick off some of the questions and help us wrestle with them here?
Absolutely. I'm excited about the Congress and definitely would like to address the questions. We did so live as they pop up on both the Q&A icon as well as on the chat icon. And let us know if you did not receive a response either by voicing it right here, right now, or send your question again. We definitely have answered several. Several of the questions came about, what if I cannot come? Tom responded that this is an in-person event. It is not fair for people who will come all the way from across the ocean to Orlando to sit in a room and just be reviewing, recording, presentation. So we made a decision that we're going to offer limited opportunities for pre-recorded presentation, maybe one per session, but in essence, it's going to be in-person event. And I believe that by September, the world will be traveling and communicating and commuting at a much more reasonable pace than now.
Can we grab some other questions, as you can see? I'm trying to answer some of the ones on Q&A here. All right, I'm sending on the Q&A side the question from contact people that I mentioned, Luis Fernandez, our social media and platforms manager, Calroy Saviano, our secretariat. You've already got Fred Moxley from Amy's in the presentation. That was the Amy at CED.org and so forth. And then myself. So I've given you emails there, and maybe I'll recopy them for the chat.
And Tom,
so for this contact that I'm talking about in the month of May, we'll work with everybody who's accepted, and those that 100 that are still in review will be happy to be in contact with you, as well as other registrants who are not part of the abstract process. Go ahead, Yadin.
And Tom, I see that Fred is online. Fred, if you have comments based on what you heard or read in the Q&A, you're welcome to join and verbally respond to that.
Okay, thank you. I have been sort of reading through them, and I know one person I did respond to about his bank transfer that we are looking into.
Yeah, our friend from Nigeria. Yeah. I'm looking at more.
Tom,
go ahead.
Tom, if you would like to spend a minute on the fourth track.
Happy to. So the first through third tracks is what, the parallel sessions. There'll be one, very large parallel session, probably health technology management, but two other medium-sized in parallel, as we did in Rome. What am I saying? On the main Congress days, Tuesday, Wednesday, I talked about 6 1.5-hour periods other than the keynotes at the beginning and end of the day. In those 6 parallel sessions, and I'm still talking about tracks 1 through 3, Yadin, but I'll get to track 4 in a moment. There will be 3 simultaneous sessions, or in that 1.5-hour period, there'll be programs going on in 3 rooms, and it'll be 3 topics. And so that will be the 4 times 3 is 12. That's the 12 health technology challenge topics. And there's another 2 1.5-hour periods where we'll put the 2 panels, 3 panels in each of those. So that's what we call the CED tracks 1 through 3 on Tuesday, Wednesday, the main days of the Congress. Also, our friends from Ifmb, academic biomedical engineering leaders and research leaders around the world, will have their own programs on Monday, the pre-conference day. They call it the Administrative Council meeting and the Council of Societies meeting. But then on Tuesday, Wednesday, there will be a 4th track, a 4th room, where they will have sessions of their choice. And And so that's the fourth track. Does that help?
Very helpful, because I wanted people to hear and understand this program is expansive, very, topic that you can choose any of the 3 rooms that are specifically on clinical engineering practice, or the 4th room that is more academic research and biomedical engineering oriented. But yet we achieve this combination and collaboration to have the expansive view of the program, which is appropriate for international congress in our field. Thank you, Tom.
So I'm looking at the Q&A, which is the right place for Q&A to take place. How much will I need to raise for the Congress in Ghana? Those are one of the kinds of questions and discussions we'll have in May with you. The short answer is you're responsible for your airfare. If you need to go find another source to help you with your airfare, I don't know if it's your National Society or some other source, you need to work on that. We'll work with you about the money for the Congress once you land. So that'll be one of our May discussions with you. I'm looking at Mario Seca here. We want people to present physically. That is correct, as Yadina said repeatedly. What was the rate of rejections? I have to tell you, when I say 200 unique individuals heard that they were accepted in the program, and 100 heard they were on the waiting list already this month. And that's the unique individuals that were the leading submitters of those 370 abstracts, because several people did multiple abstracts. I would say the rejection rate is about 30%, Mario. So we have a strong acceptance rate of the individuals, maybe not for every one of their abstracts, but for the individuals, our acceptance rate of the abstracts and all that work that so many of you, 660 of you, were involved in putting those abstracts together. What I'm saying is the acceptance rate is high because we want you there, as we said before. I'm going down these quickly. Oh, of course, as I put in the chat, and I hope all of you saw it, maybe those on Facebook Live didn't see it, the recording today, the slides today, all of that will be available on our website by tomorrow, and we'll get that to you. And the Q&A today, whether it's verbal or in written, I'll have a Q&A document out by early next week about all of these questions. That's not the question on the screen right there on the screen. It's will there be a live online broadcast of the event and presentations? Once again, we will record them live, and there may be some pre-recordings, as Yadin said. Maybe one of the 7 per session will be a pre-recorded that will be played for the people sitting in the room. But there will not be likely live online broadcast in real time. Hopefully shortly thereafter. Once again, we're all trying to keep the costs down so that as many of you, and we can help as many of you as we might. So I hope that helps. Yeah, if you register and don't attend, we'll get back to you. But if you register, you're going to get a certificate of participation. I mean, to the extent we honestly can do that. I've given you contact people, and of course, Sherry also noted here Fred's email address, Fred Moxley from Amy, the senior meetings manager that spoke, and that many of you are also interacting with, and that's also going to be in these slides, how to get with him. So other questions or comments?
So Brad, I believe that I covered the metrics for evaluating the submission. You're welcome to add anything to that. But once again, when we talk about rejection ratio, I believe we did excellent job of, in general, Tom, over 300 or 320 submission, we have about 200 on the program. That is extremely good but competitive rate. And this is a reflection of the quality of this program.
Yeah, when we set up programs like this, which Amy does quite a bit, the competition for slots to present is always quite competitive. This year with the ICEHTMC 4, we were really just very, very pleased with the quality of abstract that arrived. And so we were already working with very terrific abstracts to begin with. And as Yadin noted, we went through about, I think it ended up being, Tom, maybe 370 abstracts at the end of the day, that each of us read every single one of those. And we had a science committee review those. 3 to 5 people reviewed every single abstract. It was very hard to select the best, and we worked hard to make sure that there were coverage country to country as well as topic areas. Stature was a big deal. The quality of the presenters was just terrific. And so I think you have in store for you a really great lineup of some of the best thinkers in our field all together in one place. So I think you're going to enjoy the program quite a lot.
And I would like to add, Brad, on the topic of posters. We do have a criteria for accepting submission as a poster format, as in contrast to oral presentation. The space is limited, but I believe we have good amount of opportunity for posters. The sizes and the format information is available on the site, and you're welcome to review it. But we will have a very active and interactive session of poster presentation in the Congress.
I want to comment on something I know is near and dear, particularly to many people's hearts, and that is what will the discounts look like for those that are accepted into the program, which is the ones that we need to give those discounts to, not all the co-authors, but the ones that lead those efforts of those abstracts. And I'll quickly say, we really want you to understand you need to be able to get to that Orlando airport, MCO. We need you to find a way to get your airfare and get to that airport. I mean, and there's ways around the world, and many of you know about them, and you need to work on that because anyway, you need to. But our help is we want you to land there, and we're going to do everything we can after you land to keep your expenses down. We're going to find a way to incent you to stay in the main resort hotel. We're going to try to incent you to stay in that resort hotel and enjoy that. There will be alternative housing sources and more information in our discussions in May that I talked about. But so how do we find that balance to get so many of you involved and particularly help our LMIC colleagues, with, US dollars and the challenges there. And if you were part of a developed country and you submitted, we want to give you some boost for having, gone to all that work as well. So, bear with us as we try to answer your questions and we finalize all that information over the next 30 days in particular. How we doing on questions and answers now, guys?
I think, Tom, it's evidence that together we can make it better.
I've heard that before and I like it a lot. One question is coming through from our IFMB friends is that will there be rooms reserved for IFMB in the Council Society meetings? And the answer is yes. And if the Council Society wants to organize a dinner, what you heard earlier, and you want to avoid conflicts, very good question, Monique, from Canada and the leader of the Council Societies for IFMB, by the way. You heard a Monday night reception with food and drink that usually serves as dinner that night. So food is provided as through the registration for Monday night. Tuesday night, there's that dinner at the hotel, separately ticketed. You'll see on the website. We're going to try to help raise money so that as many people as possible can be a part of that dinner. That'll be part of our May discussions that I keep alluding to. But Wednesday night is free, Monique. And, it may be a time that the IFMB might want to consider a dinner. Other questions? I know our time is about done. Yeah, actually a little bit over, but we appreciate everybody joining today. You know, it's a challenging time with COVID, you know, affecting us. I don't think we talked about, you know, the board and collaborators has heard this. Some of you that are not a part of that yet have not, and that, you know, part of even having this conversation today was delayed as we waited to see what would happen with COVID and Disney and what guidelines they gave us. And some of the ones they gave us quickly were that between these 1.5 hour sessions I keep talking about, we have to have a half an hour for the rooms to be cleaned. During those sessions, we're hoping, like, you know, a little mini stage, if you can imagine, and a microphone on one side and a microphone on the other, because we have to wipe down the microphone between speakers, but we don't want to keep the program going. So, and we know that there's a lot bigger COVID challenges. You're just dealing with stuff in your own countries and then trying to get in travel and so forth. So we're all working hard on this together, and we look forward to together we could make it better. So thank you, everybody, and bye for today.